She received a very British welcome on Tuesday evening, greeted by dark clouds and heavy showers as she arrived Luton Airport. But Queen Letizia of Spain was met with sunshine and a spectacular gun salute as she kicked off the first official day of her state visit to Britain with husband King Felipe VI on Wednesday. The couple were formally greeted by the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh on Horse Guards Parade this afternoon in what is expected to be 96-year-old Philip's last state visit before he retires from public duties in the autumn. The action-packed tour has so far seen the King and Queen enjoy a private lunch at Buckingham Palace, afternoon tea at Clarence House, and tonight they will attend a state banquet at the palace with senior members of the royal family. For today's procession, the Captain of the Guard of Honor Major Charlie Gare, presented his Guard of Honor to Felipe in Spanish while Major General Ben Bathurst, Major General commanding the Household Division, commanded the Grand Parade. A total of more than 1,000 troops are expected to take part in the state visit. Letizia, 44, traveled to the palace in style in the state landau, the carriage which was built for the coronation of King Edward VII in 1902. Alongside Prince Philip, while her husband traveled with the Queen. The mother of two stunned in a vibrant yellow coat dress by go-to designer Felipe Varela, vertiginous £550 Prada stilettos and a bespoke headpiece by Maria Nito, teamed with yellow and gold earrings which are believed to belong to her mother-in-law Queen Sofia. The Queen opted for a magenta coat and flower-adorned hat that she wore just over 2 weeks ago at Royal Ascot as she introduced the Spanish couple to leading figures from UK national life, including Prime Minister Theresa May, Home Secretary Amber Rudd, Metropolitan Police Commissioner Cressida Dick and a host of senior military figures. Once inside the palace, the King and Queen enjoyed a private lunch with the royal family where they were served Laureate's Choice, a sherry selected by poet Carol Ann Duffy. A poem inspired by the sherry appears on the label. During the lunchtime reception, Felipe VI became what is known as a Stranger Knight or Extra Knight Companion of the prestigious Order of the Garter. Buckingham Palace said the last foreign royal to be invested as a Knight of the Garter was King Harald V of Norway in 2001. The decision demonstrates the cordial nature of the royals' relations with their Spanish counterparts. Felipe's father, King Juan Carlos, was made a Knight of the Garter in 1988. Knights of the most noble Order of the Garter are personally chosen by the monarch. The King will have been given a Garter Star, which he is likely to wear at the state banquet. He will also now have a permanent stall in St. George's Chapel at Windsor, the spiritual home of the order. It will feature a plaque bearing his banner of arms, and have a wooden crown carved above it. This week's visit is seen as an important step in securing relations with Spain as the UK leaves the EU. The last incoming state visit by a Spanish king, Felipe's father Juan Carlos I, was 31 years ago in 1986. King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia's trip had been postponed twice, firstly because of a political crisis in Spain in March 2016. And then again when the rescheduled date clashed with June's snap general election. Felipe, 49, will also attend a UK-Spain business forum at Mansion House with the Duke of York. The couple will visit Westminster Abbey accompanied by Prince Harry, and they will both meet Theresa May at No. 10 Downing Street. The royal couple are expected to meet Prince Harry and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge when they are feted with the grand state banquet in the ballroom tonight. The first time full-time royal Harry, who is 32, has taken part in a state visit. The King is expected to raise the thorny issue of Gibraltar during his stay this week. He will deliver an address at Westminster from the Royal Gallery to parliamentarians on Wednesday, and meet Mrs. May for talks at Downing Street on Thursday. Last September, he used his speech to the UN General Assembly in New York to call for a negotiated handover of what Gibraltarians affectionately call the Rock. I invite the UK, on this first occasion at the UN after Brexit, to end the colonial anachronism of Gibraltar with an agreed solution between both countries to restore the territorial integrity of Spain, he declared. The future of Gibraltar, a rocky British enclave on Spain's southern tip, is set to be a major point of contention in the British-EU exit talks, with the EU offering Spain a right of veto over the relationship between Gibraltar and the EU. It comes after the European Union's top court ruled last month that Gibraltar and the United Kingdom can be treated as a single EU member for certain aspects of EU law, a finding that could complicate the territory's hopes of winning a special status after Brexit. On Tuesday afternoon, the royal couple were given an official farewell with honors at Adolfo Suárez Madrid Barajas Airport as they set off for London, where they were later greeted on behalf of the Queen by the Viscount Brookborough, Lord-in-Waiting. Former anchorwoman Letizia, mother to 11-year-old Leonor, Princess of Asturias and 10-year-old Infanta Sofia of Spain, displayed her sartorial prowess in a chic white Hugo Boss ensemble, paired with oversized shades and towering snakeskin heels from Spanish label Madrid. Security will be tight for today's ceremonial welcome and carriage procession, in what will be the first state visit to take place since the recent terror attacks in Manchester and London. The mall was decked out in Spanish flags ahead of the visit and gun salutes were fired from Green Park and the Tower of London to welcome the King and Queen of Spain. The Royal Mews staff were decked out in their full state livery, a uniform that has changed little in over 200 years, ahead of the ceremonial welcome, while horses were hitched to their respective carriages, ready to be inspected by the master of the horse before departing. The royal visit began one day later than as usual, meaning Theresa May will miss Prime Minister's questions in the Commons in order to attend the Horse Guards welcome. This afternoon, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh will formally welcome the King and Queen on Horse Guards Parade where presentations will be made, the Guard of Honor will give a royal salute and the Spanish national anthem will be played. The Spanish King, accompanied by the Duke of Edinburgh, inspected the Guard of Honor, which are the 1st Battalion Irish Guards. Afterwards, the King and Queen joined the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh for a state carriage procession along the Mall to Buckingham Palace. Following a private lunch at Buckingham Palace, the monarch invited the King and Queen of Spain to view an exhibition in the picture gallery of items from the royal collection relating to Spain. In honor of this week's state visit, the royal collection put together an exhibition item celebrating the historic ties between the United Kingdom and Spain, presenting objects dating back to the 16th century and gifts from the 1988 state visit, as well as examples of Spanish craftsmanship and artworks by British artists based in Spain. King Felipe learned about his great-grandmother, Queen Nina of Spain, née Victoria Eugenia of Battenberg, who was Queen Victoria's youngest granddaughter. The Prince of Wales, the Duchess of Cornwall, the Duke of Cambridge and the Duke of York also had chance to view the collection, which includes a pair of bronze lions presented by the Spanish Congress to the Queen during her visit in 1988 and examples of blades made in the Spanish city of Toledo. The Countess of Wessex took a particular interest in the Constitution Espanola, another gift from the Queen's state visit to Madrid in 1988. In the afternoon the Spanish couple, who wed in Madrid 2004, met the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall for tea at nearby Clarence House. Letizia and Camilla had a quick outfit change for the engagement, the Queen into a red dress and the Duchess a summery floral number, while their husbands opted to stick to their navy suits. Afterwards, the King and Queen will visit the Palace of Westminster, where they will be welcomed by the Speaker of the House of Commons and the Lord Speaker. The King will deliver an address in the Royal Gallery to parliamentarians and other guests, followed by a reception with members and invited guests ahead of tonight's state banquet. On Thursday, Prince Harry will accompany the royal visitors to Westminster Abbey. Felipe will lay a wreath at the grave of the unknown warrior and Harry will join them on a short tour of the abbey, including the tomb of Eleanor Leonor of Castile, the 13th-century Spanish princess who married Edward I. William and Harry have a shared history with the king. As youngsters, they holidayed with Felipe, his father King Juan Carlos and their family in Mallorca several times throughout the 1980s. Felipe and Letizia were also guests at the Duke and Duchess's wedding in 2011. The Cambridges are already viewed as the royal family's unofficial Brexit ambassadors, and are setting off on another diplomacy tour next week, heading to Germany and Poland for 5 days with their children Prince George and Princess Charlotte in tow.